Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderfall Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against Grey. So, I've tried recording this video a couple of times with a webcam and it's decided to not be working in any way, shape or form, so we're just throwing up some artwork and that'll do. But what I wanted to do in this video today was take a look back on the year that has been for me personally on Age of Sigmar and give some thanks to a lot of people who've helped my personal hobby, help the channel over the year as well as looking forward to some hobby goals for next year. And just sort of chat a little bit about what I want to do in the next year with the channel as well, because I guess they're hobby goals in a way. But to start with, I want to look back at some positives that have happened over the year, because there's not been a lot of positives for some people in the world at this current time. It's been a bit of a bad year in all honesty, and you know, it's been what it's been. We all know why. But for me, there's been some positives in there. And I don't think there's any bigger a positive for me this year than the fact that the channel finally reached 1,000 subscribers. When we started the year, at the start of the year, I was roughly about 350-ish. And by just after the first sort of lockdown, we'd just reached 1,000. And as I record this, we're fast approaching 2,000, which is awesome. I think we've got like 210 subscribers to go before we get to that amazing milestone. So hopefully hit that early in the new year. But for me, it was awesome to see that the new look I sort of had on the channel, where I was doing a bunch of stuff on the channel and I sort of figured out where I wanted to go with the channel, and it was getting new people into the game. It's something I've always enjoyed doing, is meeting new people, and especially newer people into the hobby, and helping them find their place in the hobby. And also, especially taking a look at the more narrative aspect of the game. And this is something I want to continue on next year, but we'll get onto the continuing part next year. But finding like the Star Collecting video series that I did has blown up massively for the channel. I've met so many people. I've actually met local people I didn't even know existed in my local community through that. I've made some good friends with a bunch of locals, and we started our own gaming group based on people I've met that have actually watched those Star Collecting videos and started to sort of follow, and now we've got a gaming group going, and that's been pretty awesome to have that as a side effect, having a new gaming group in my local area start, because I met some locals through making YouTube content is awesome. I've made friends through YouTube that I like catch up with on a regular basis, that I know their kids, and it's awesome. But I couldn't have done it without everyone who supports the channel like they do. Every one of those subscribers means the world to me, and you all are fantastic. And speaking of channels, I'm glad one day that I just decided to record a battle report, and we started doing battle reports on the channel now. I'm enjoying doing the longer form battle reports. I think they're fun. Seeing the dice rolls on the channel, it's definitely the way I want to do battle reports. And it's been fun. Like one day, I'm just like, after lockdown, we were just like, I want to do a battle report. I want to put one on the channel, because no one was able to release battle reports for ages. So I'm like, well, we're out of it, so I'm doing one. And it just sort of spurred on from there, and we got battle reports on the channel of a whole bunch of different sorts of battle reports, where we're meeting engagements, 1k, 2k, 2.5k games, playing battle plans, all different ones. It's been a load of fun doing those battle reports, and I hope to do many, many more, but we'll get onto that later. And I think the biggest thing for me this year that's happened more than any is I've painted more minis than I've ever painted. When I started out, I wanted to paint 500 minis. I said I'd like to test myself to try and get to the 1,000 when I hit that 500 mark midway through the year. Didn't quite get that because obviously COVID disappeared and I went back to work. And so I think I ended up hitting about 760 models in the end. And yeah, it's been great. The amount of armies I've painted up. I've got Gits painted up now. I've got Zinch. I've got so much cities painted up. I've got Stormcast. I've got a bunch of other stuff. I've got some Fire Slayers, Idenef Deepkin. I've got Warcry Warbands. I've got so much terrain because I painted up like 160 pieces of terrain for the GTs. Speaking of GTs, that would be, the next part that would be pretty awesome for the year was the fact that I ran my first GT. Yeah, it was just after we'd come out of our second lockdown, and it was hurt by size due to some events across different states in Australia, but it was cool running my first 2 day. I've learned a lot from it. I'm going to be running something very different next year. I think I want to run something very, very different than what I did this year, but we'll see what happens and what the future holds on that. And I guess probably for me, two of the coolest things, I mean, I got to go on Warhammer Weekly this year. That was cool. Fanboying about Vince and Tom and Warhammer Weekly and all that sort of stuff. But for me, it was always one of the goals. I want to go on there and I want to chat some Warhammer on Warhammer Weekly, because it's one of those things. I've done a show with Rob on The Honest Wargamer, and Warhammer Weekly was sort of the next one to go on. So why not? That was a ton of fun to go on there with Vince and Tom and chat Soulbound. And speaking of Soulbound, I think that is probably the coolest thing of anything to happen this year, was for Soulbound to finally be released, and to have my name printed in the book was pretty darn awesome. I got the pleasure to playtest the game, and I got my name in the publication. That is just awesome. I couldn't be happy to see my name in that book. It sits on pride on my shelf behind me, and it's just a cool little memorabilia of I got to partake in this. I got to help shape this. This is cool. But I think that time's come where, I guess, looking back on the year, I'd love to hear all your happy, joyous things that have happened to you this year. Like, it's been a pretty sour year, a lot of the year for a lot of people, but I'm sure there's some good hobby stuff that's happened to you this year, whether it's painting some models, buying something, a new release has caught your fancy, anything like that. I'd love to hear your highs and even your lows, and talk about how you've dealt with those lows even throughout the year, because ups and downs have happened all throughout this year. So definitely leave some comments down below with them. But I'd like to go in next to say some special thanks to a bunch of people who've helped the channel. I won't say my Patreon supporters here, because they'll get their own little part at the end like they normally do. But they're definitely a bunch of awesome people, the people who help support on Patreon. But I'd like to give special thanks to a bunch of the local sort of community I have that have come around and done battle reports with me, that have helped the channel grow by coming around and doing battle reports. And that is Mark, Ash, David, Ryan, Cron, Mia, Mike, Tom, Harley, Dan, and Leon. Thank you all so much, guys, for helping create the battle reports for the channels. I couldn't have done them without you guys. And for content help and various other people that have done things and come on the channel, whether it be Andrew, Ash, and DJ, who've helped with the Age of Sigmar Soulbound Let's Play, and we'll have more on that soon. Or even Dan, who's helped me restart up Mortal Citizens, has been a ton of fun with that Misthaven episode. And then definitely, chances to go on other people's shows, like AOS Coach has had me on his show before this year as well, once again. And then definitely to Vince and Tom for allowing me to come on Warhammer Weekly and chat Soulbound with them. And definitely a special shout out to the Discord crew. They are a special part of my hobby community, because they are my little corner, I guess, where it's even different than my local group. These are people who come on there and they chat much more personalized hobby on there. I really appreciate everyone on the Discord, and I'm sorry if I've missed your name. I greatly apologize, because there is a ton of you on there, whether it be Gyro Circus, Rhino Thorn, Blue Fluff, Dat Skull Kid, Earth Minis, Gary, Doot, Alex P, Huey, Jane Blazer, Bone Daddy Chungus, Elliot, Marvarian, James C, Sins of a Killer, Syrian, Outer Shot First, Arnold DeGans, or Kath Champigny, or Half, and many, many, many others. I'm sorry if I missed your name, because there's a ton of yous, but it's been a pleasure to have you all in the Discord server and see your hobby progress and see many of your hobby journeys, because some of you are brand new to the hobby in there, and it's just been a bunch of amazing fun to see you all in the hobby. But I guess after thanking those people, it's time to set some hobby goals for the new year, and this is where I'd love everyone to definitely comment on. Set yourself some hobby goals in the comments down below, please, because I want to hold everyone to their hobby goals this year. So if you want to, set yourself a hobby goal for the end of next year, and when we do this next year, I will hold everyone who comments to their hobby goals, and we can see where you've gone and how you've done with your hobby goals. Now, these are my hobby goals. So first of all, I like to have 1,000-point army painted every month, or an equivalent in a different game system. So what I mean by that is, like Lord of the Rings, say if I want to do that one month, that has very different of what 1,000 points in that equivalates to. I'm not entirely sure myself what it is, but that's what I want to do. Whether it's 1,000 points of 40k, 1,000 points of AOS, 1,000 points of Warcry, something. But speaking of Warcry, I'd like to keep up to date with all the Underworlds and Warcry releases that come out. So that means by the end of the year, I want to have every warband painted. I want to have every Warcry warband and Underworlds warband painted by the end of the year. That comes out on these newest seasons. That doesn't mean I want to do the old ones. I would like to have everything caught up with Warcry and Underworlds, but that's a little bit less likely. And then, for me, the biggest thing I want to do next year is we're really going to push into the narrative side of the tabletop wargaming. We're going to move away a little bit from the competitive battle reports, or even one-off battle reports. They'll still be a thing, but really what we want to push is doing campaigns and doing narrative battle reports in various different ways. We want to stretch and show a whole bunch of different things that you can do with narrative on the channel, because as everyone knows, I really enjoy my narrative play, and I think this year's taught me more than any. I've missed playing games, and I had that big part of like me missing playing games, that I've gotten to this point where I just enjoy playing games now. I'm not fussed about playing 2,000 points. I enjoy a 1,000 point throwdown with a mate. I've had 800 point, 1,200 point, 1,450 point games, and I don't care about that being around that 2,000 point mark anymore. While we'll still do it every now and again, especially when I'm getting ready for an event, I'm not as fussed. I'd much rather just play games, and so we're going to be doing a lot of narrative sort of content, whether it's Warcry campaigns, Path to Glory campaigns, certain other campaign types, flowing on solo play campaigns, Underworlds, a whole bunch of stuff. And that's the general idea that we'll have across the channel, is a lot of these coming out weekly sort of shows, following a whole bunch of different campaigns along. That will be the idea anyway that we want to do. But I think that's enough rambling for me on this sort of subject. There's not really much more to say except thank you to everyone for supporting the channel. I hope 2021 is a much better year for everyone, and that we can continue to have the channel grow and keep providing people with amazing content. So yeah, that's really all I want to say. It's just a bit of rambling from me, some thanks, and some sort of setting out some hobby goals and talking about my year. But once again, I'd love to see everyone posting their own hobby goals down below, because I'll hold you to them this time next year. So thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure this year. I couldn't have imagined a more awesome year despite everything that's happened. It's been great. So thank you. Well, thank you all for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you'd like to come chat with me and other members of our fine community, you can do so by following the link down to our Discord server in the description of the video below. Also, would like to give a special shout out to everyone who supports the channel via Patreon or YouTube members, and they are our Sinful Guard Militia members: Christian Weir, Philip Ward, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Alderon Shot First, Chaos Spawn, and James Crowder, and our Free Guild Regiment members James and AJC. Thank you all so much for your support. If you'd like to help support the channel like these fine gentlemen do, then you can do so by either clicking the link to follow to our Patreon down in the description of the video, or by joining the YouTube channel. That's it for today though, folks. Thank you all for watching once again. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.